Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert, covering a woke shutdown. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey has destroyed woke pre-K books. Her people should have known better than to go buying these books, distributing them to schools completely against the wishes of the people of Alabama. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. This is the same Kay Ivey who was bold enough to say in April of 2022 that Democrats stole the election from Donald Trump. Naturally, CNN doesn't like her too much. But this is the latest story from AL.com. Obviously, that's Alabama. Alabama sent woke pre-K books that cost thousands of dollars to a dump. Where else are you going to put them unless you want to poison your children with them? And of course, they don't want that in Alabama, and that's where they ended up. After Alabama's governor ousted a top state official over a woke pre-K training manual, officials dumped dozens of the books, totaling thousands of dollars in the trash. A photograph above right here shows more than 100 manuals newly bought from the National Association for the Education of Young Children scattered across the floor of a Montgomery waste recycling plant about 5 miles from the offices of the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. Here's what happened going back that caused the problem in the first place. Another article from Alabama.com, Governor Kay Ivey denounces woke preschool training book ousts state official. Barbara Cooper, head of the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, was forced to resign after state officials found the department was distributing teacher training materials that included woke concepts. According to a statement released by Governor Kay Ivey's office, state officials were alerted about a pre-K educator resource book that they said contained content that is simply not in line with what the Ivey administration or the people of Alabama stand for or believe. And it may seem like a little thing, but it's actually really a big thing, because these books get distributed to teachers, and teachers are told, look, this is what you go by, and wait until you see what the concepts are for these pre-kindergarten children. The resource in question was the 4th edition of the National Association for the Education of Young Children Developmentally Appropriate Practice book, Ivey spokesman Gina Mayola said. In a news conference, Mayola said Ivey was concerned that the book tells teachers there are, quote, larger systemic forces that perpetuate systems of white privilege, and that, quote, the United States is built on systemic and structural racism. Absolutely not true, and should not be told to teachers, and certainly should not be given as a guide for teachers to put that kind of spin on all their interaction with impressionable young people. That is not what America is about. She was concerned too, Mayola said, with the directions that, quote, LGBT need to hear and see messages that promote equality, dignity, and worth. Additionally, Mayola said the book's glossary, quote, includes equally disturbing concepts that the Ivey administration and the people of Alabama in no way, shape, or form believe should be used to influence school children, let alone 4-year-olds. According to its website, NAEYC is a national accrediting board that works to provide high-quality early learning materials for children up to age 8. Cooper was elected to the association's national governing board in 2022, and her term ends in 2026. And here's how they promote themselves. And they are affecting young children. Quote, for nearly 4 decades, and in partnership with hundreds of thousands of families and educators, developmentally appropriate practice has served as the foundation for high-quality early childhood education across all states and communities. While not a curriculum, it is a responsive, educator-developed, educator-informed, and research-based resource that has been honed over multiple generations to support teachers in helping all children thrive and reach their full potential. Building on the good work that is happening in states and communities, NAEYC looks forward to continuing its partnership with families, educators, and policymakers to further our shared goals of offering joyful learning environments that see, support, and reflect all children and their families. Well, that's a well-written paragraph. It's a good statement. Unfortunately, it's a cover for pushing an agenda to 4-year-old children. Cooper could not be reached for comment because she's been thrown out. Following an investigation, Ivy directed Cooper to send a memo to disavow the book and discontinue its use immediately. The governor then made the decision to have a change in leadership at the department and accepted Cooper's resignation immediately, according to their news release. Cooper was appointed by Governor Ivy as Secretary of Early Childhood Education in 2020 after spending 2 years to administer the nationally recognized Alabama First Class Pre-K program. She has resigned. Quote, Governor Ivy remains appreciative for her service to the state and passion for early childhood education. In addition to expanding service to the number of 4-year-olds, Dr. Cooper has helped put an increased focus on students in lower performing areas and has even been a champion for computer science education in the state. However, Governor Ivy strongly believes that woke concepts have no place at any level of education in the state of Alabama and should not be taken away from the overall mission of improving educational outcomes for students. How could you not agree with that? In a news release, Ivy said she believed the materials were, quote, divisive and inappropriate for young learners. Of course they're divisive if you're going to say the country was built on structural systemic racism. Quote, the education of Alabama's children is my top priority as governor, and there is absolutely no room to distract or take away from this mission. Let me be crystal clear. Woke concepts that have zero to do with a proper education and that are divisive at the core have no place in Alabama classrooms at any age level, let alone with our youngest learners. We want our children to be focused on the fundamentals such as reading and math. Quote, Alabama's first class pre-K is the best in the country, and those children are at too critical a juncture in their educational journeys and development to get it wrong. I remain confident in the wonderful teachers we have in pre-K classrooms around our state and in the necessity of our children receiving a strong start to their educational journeys in our first-class pre-K program. I thank Dr. Cooper for her service, but I believe it's best we continue this historically strong program on its forward trajectory under new leadership. Really well said and very graciously handled. But unfortunately, children are already damaged by this because books were bought and distributed. It's not like they caught them all. And then the problem is when the state is sending out books like this and teachers receive them as background for standards for curriculum, not that it's the curriculum. It's even worse than it being the curriculum. This isn't the actual instruction. This is the basis for all instruction. Yes, those books should be thrown away. These books are also like $160 each. This is $16,000 worth of books. Who knows how many of these books they bought and already distributed, but it's great to see a message that goes out to the state to warn these teachers, hey, look, yeah, this book made it through our system, but that's why Barbara Cooper is no longer part of our team. We don't want this. We don't like this. If we see this, you're gone. And here's how Gina Mayola said this was all handled. Quote, the governor immediately directed the department to disavow and discontinue the book, she said, and that was done. And we can see that that was done. We can only hope that more governors in more states will continue to be aggressive in protecting children from divisive concepts, from woke agendas. Obviously, children can grow up and do whatever they want to do, raised properly by their family, and figure out their lives for themselves. But children are incredibly impressionable. They should not be exposed to anything that is outside the community's norm and outside of a parent's approval. And if it's not allowed in the state, it should not be in the school. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.